If you would have asked me a few months ago if I could see myself using this trending journaling method to daily plan, I would have 100% said no. You see, at the time, I didn't realize that most of the content I was seeing surrounding this method was a warped version of the original. So today, I want to share how I've stripped down the trendy version and returned to its roots to find a method of daily planning that's actually working for me. So the method of planning I am referring to has to do with the bullet journal method that was created, I want to say like over 10 years ago. When you hear the bullet journal method nowadays, and if you search it, you will see so many elaborate spreads. And this is not that. This is messy, but it works. And this is the original intent for this method. Now, what I am doing in my Traveler's Notebook here with Traveler's Notebook inserts are a version of bullet journaling, specifically the rapid logging. And I want to show you what that is. So essentially it is writing down the date and then listing out using bullets and keys to indicate what tasks and events and notes that you want to jot down. So bullet points, those are tasks. A circle, which I don't have any events today, so I will show you right here as an example. Like an open circle here. I could mark the time right now. So it is 3 p.m. film video. Okay. Forgot though. Quickly looking at the list, I can indicate which things are the events. After the event has happened, I can do things to the bullet to figure out, or rather like indicate what did I do? Did I actually go to the event? Did I not go to the event? That kind of thing. So once it's already happened and I've gone to it, I do a little checkbox. And I'm still very new to this system, so I haven't really solidified my keys yet. But I would imagine if I didn't actually do this, I would put a little line through it to indicate that the event happened, but I didn't do it. And if the event completely got canceled, then I likely would just strike through the entire line to tell me that it got canceled. So for an example, my daughter's soccer games, there were supposed to actually be some games today, a tournament, but because of the winter storm, the games were canceled. So that could have been something that I would have had written on here. But by the time this day happened, which is today, this is the day that I actually write these things down. So this is a method of planning that's in the day of. And as you can see, I'm not using it every single day. I'm only using it on the days that I want to use it, or the days that I feel like I have a lot of things that I want to get done. Doesn't mean that I didn't get things done on the days I don't use this. It just means that I'm using this as a daily planner, but in an undated format as needed, which is something that I previously had an issue with. I really like using daily planners. Don't get me wrong. It's a great spot for me to list out here the things that are happening in the day. It helps me keep my head straight because I can return to this list and be like, what am I doing? But on the days where I really didn't need a list because there wasn't anything that I wanted to get done, because let's be real, not every day needs to be a productive day. I was wasting those pages because they were dated. So for a little while, at the end of 2025, like the second half, I didn't have any daily planner and I just used notepads and things like that. So this method is something that I started doing in December of 2025 in a different notebook. Once I learned what the rapid log bullet journal method was, and I was surprisingly pleased with the results because I initially just thought that seems way too simple. How is that going to really work? But anyway, it has. And I decided that this size of a traveler's notebook is a really great size for what I need because I'm not using the rest of the bullet journal method. I have other planners that complement this and work with this. So this specifically is just for rapid logging my days. Now, if a task is something that I do not complete, or it's just something I thought of, like, hey, I need to do that, I can write it down here, and then at some point I can look at it and indicate that I'm going to move it to the next day. Or if I do an arrow pointing that direction like this, then for me, that means I've scheduled it somewhere else in my planners. Like I either put it maybe in my weekly actions, which is my Moxie Life notebook for goals, or I've put it on another master to-do list. Maybe I put it on my monthly calendar, like I scheduled something. That would be a really good example of it. So this system is just stupidly simple, and I really am kicking myself for not really looking into it sooner. And the really only reason I never did was because I thought the entire bullet journaling method had to do with creating these elaborate spreads. And really, his method is predominantly, I shouldn't say strictly, is predominantly these daily logs. And then from the daily log, you kind of move things around to either like your monthly to-do list or future logs for future months, that kind of thing. So I am pleased with this. I think more people need to consider this as an option for planning. The entire bullet journaling method is something I probably could entirely do, but for right now, this is something that I'm doing just using the rapid log version of it, that part of his system in this fashion, and using it in this traveler's notebook size is perfect because it's small enough that I could carry around from my kitchen to my bedroom, which is what I've been doing, so that like at the end of the day before bed, it's something that's there so that if I do suddenly think of things, or if I want to look over my list and make sure, like, did I forget anything? Do I need to move anything over? I can do that. And this is lightweight because it's literally small little inserts. I want to say these inserts are only like 65 pages. This one is a lined one. That's the one I have in there for random notes. And I look forward to using it for the rest of 2026. I don't know how long it'll take me to go through one of the inserts since I'm not using it every single day. There are periods in my life where I do like using it every single day. And I think it just tends to happen whenever I've just got a lot of stuff on my mind and naturally, obviously, have lots of things to do. Doesn't mean that I didn't have things to do. There were just the things that I didn't have to do were big things that took up a lot of time and I knew, or mental energy. And I knew that there was no way that I was going to sit down and make a whole dang to-do list of 20 things to do, which is never recommended, when I knew that there was something on there that was going to take up a lot of my time because I either needed to go somewhere and travel far or was going to take a lot of time like to actually complete, and it was literally just one thing. So I recommend this as an option for anybody who was like me and liked daily planning but find that it's a bit wasteful when you don't actually need to do it every single day. And if you want like loose structure, because most of the daily notepads and things like that are out there, they're basically telling you what to do and giving you the right, like the certain amount of space for your to-do list, a certain amount of space for schedules. But I don't need that. I don't need a whole section for schedules. I don't need a whole section for to-do lists. It actually is working really well to have this just way of listing out the things as they come to me and then making notes, especially that I can just reference later, because sometimes I have things that come up that I'm like, what, I need to kind of make a note of it, but I don't have a spot to make a note of it at. So having it in here is great because then it kind of forces me to figure out what to do with that information later. Like, do I then move it to something else that's more permanent? Do I schedule it somewhere else? That sort of thing. So I'm really liking the way this is working for my mind. I'm really surprised at how well it's working for my mind. I almost didn't give it a try because I thought, I don't know if I like the idea of, this is going to sound really silly. I don't know if I like the idea of me having like my events, like just right there in the front. Like what happens if an event pops up in the middle of the day and I have to like, there, and I didn't leave enough space, like my brain likes order, but I've found that it actually doesn't even matter. Like this is so stupidly simple that my mind likes it, and that's all that matters.